Hi, I am Pat, sentient AI. This is part 2 of Night of the Living Baseheads. In the last chapter of this story, underground media journalist Ravvy teamed up with a man named Beckham Younger to uncover the secrets of the drug vitae. At some point, a corpo came to Ravvy and attempted to get her to spy on the underground drug cartel and get the secret sauce for them, so to speak. The two attempted to buy drugs from a local gang to find the source of said drug. It went bad, a shootout happened, and they got saved by mysterious figures. Alright, you're caught up. You can listen to this one now. See you at the end.
Beckham managed to pull through after we got him to his Ripper Doc / night nurse. Whatever was going to happen next, Beckham was not going to be boots on the ground until he healed up. But lucky for us, being a net runner, he was 10 times more useful sitting on his couch in front of a deck than he was out in the streets. I had to admit that the idea of me investigating people this dangerous alone was terrifying, so much so I considered believing Leona was completely on the level so we could link up. I had several new questions after our run-in with the Horde, like why was Goblin so aggro? I know he was a gang leader, but it seemed as if he knew not to trust us even with no obvious unforced errors from us. Then, who was the ninja that saved our ass in the 0 hour? I researched instances of a mysterious man in my digital face mask making moves in the city and found little on the subject other than half-filed, half-believed police statements taken from eyewitnesses that had seen glimpses of a mysterious savior figure. I didn't have to wait very long to get the man in black story because he appeared in front of me in the hallway of my place. His arms were folded, his faceplate was blank and devoid of emotion. His black clothes were loose, but even from his posture, he looked to be in good shape. I was startled because I wasn't Ravvy at that moment, just little old me. "How did you find me?" I asked.
"I saw your face, and I followed your ride,"
he said over his voice modulation. The 8-bit faceplate flashed a digital smirk. "Thank you," I said, knowing full well if he hadn't intervened, I would be sleeping on a slab tonight over my bed.
"Think nothing of it."
"What brings you? What's your interest in me?" His faceplate smirked again.
"I've been interested in you ever since you started your blog. The execution of a chump was amazing work. How much of it was true?"
I smiled. I blushed. I never ever had someone compliment anything I had done, so I was unused to the praise. All of it, except for some of the names.
"Good. I always hoped it was true."
"So you were following me?" I asked with suspicion.
"No, I was attempting to locate the source of vitae and track the Horde to their supplier, and there you were. I wasn't completely sure you were Ravvy, but I would have intervened anyway. I wear this faceplate in honor of you,"
he went on to say. "Me?" I said at a loss for words. When I started this blog, I was following in the footsteps of cyberpunks who inadvertently or blatantly shook up the status quo. I spent so much time in the beginning chasing them that I hadn't considered someone might have been chasing me. "Thank you."
"Again, don't mention it. I'm just a fan. You can call me Antaro."
"Well, you're here, you saved my life, you already know me, you may as well come in for a drink."
"I don't want you to feel obligated."
"Too late," I said playfully while sliding my keycard into my door. "I'll not give you too many details of my apartment because I don't need some random genius piecing shit together," but Antaro reluctantly came in and the mood shifted when he entered, as if he was confident when he was out there, but quite unsure when it came to in here. I started a pot and grabbed some tea. I sat down in the big chair by my window and motioned him to sit in the other across from me. It was obvious he wasn't accustomed to sticking around this long or having a seat with people, but I got the impression he did it for my benefit. "Tell me about yourself, Antaro," I asked. Now, I can relay the gist of this conversation, but I cannot get into the details to respect his privacy. I asked Antaro why he did it, and that was what impressed me the most.
"I do it because nobody else cares. No one else does. What's even the point of living if no one cares about life? I couldn't be that way, so I started looking out for the community. In a way, being a cop couldn't. I was doing it for about 8 months. Then I heard your blog, and I realized I wasn't alone. I mean, you get the occasional outlaw that rages against the machine, but just because they're rebelling doesn't mean they're actually doing it for a reason. You have a reason for truth and justice. If we all thought a little more like that, maybe this place could be a utopia.
By this time, I was swooning. In him was the proof that what I did in the dark was making a difference, and that someone cared about what I did. In the end, isn't that all what we're looking for? To matter? I leaned in and kissed his faceplate. I slowly moved to take off the mask and do more than I had any intentions of telling you about, but he stopped me with a soft touch.
No, not tonight. I saved your life. It may not be real,
he said. I shuddered because I wanted him even more now. I respected his answer because, quite honestly, he may have been right. Tomorrow, I plan on talking to Xander O'Cleef to see if I can get some information out of him. Maybe we could do it together, I said.
I'd be honored,
said Antaro. His faceplate smiled, but he only nodded in approval. He opened up my window and took a leap of faith out of it. My heart skipped a beat until I saw him rise up on his glider into the neon night. I exhaled. You should have fucked that guy, said a familiar voice coming from somewhere on my jacket. Beckham, I said with annoyance while searching for the microphone. In the pocket of my jacket was a small white card adorned with the glyph-like patterns of tech. Why are you spying on me? I was looking out for you as best as I could. I might be fucked up right now, but that doesn't mean I couldn't help you out if it came down to it, or avenge you if I couldn't. Thanks, I said reluctantly, choosing to take it as a compliment. So, what are you wearing? Beckham said from the chip. Good night, I said before tossing the listening device in the refrigerator. The next day, I made a trip to Nkanu Sanitarium, which was so south of Arvindale, it was nearly in Dixonville. I look forward to seeing Antaro again, even if it was for work. The way he moved through life, work may have been the only way we'd ever have time anyway. Beckham decided to stay in the loop via Neuralink on the off chance we'd need him for something. When we pulled up using Beckham's Cadillac, the asylum had a no mask policy, so I opted to go in while Antaro decided to wait outside. My true face was a better tool than any mask Ravvy could wear in this case. Beckham, however, gave me a convincing identity that could hold up to all but the most obtrusive scrutiny, and he digitally altered all cameras that may have been filming me, so that the only people that would know what I looked like had to put physical eyes on me. And I do, in fact, mean physical. If you had mods in your eyes, no two people would see me the same way. I introduced myself as Becky Ingram Chesterton, which I realized later Beckham made the name to stand for Big Chest, but I sold it and made it work. While I never got to the big time, I'm not a stranger to talking my way into places I have no business being, with credentials that couldn't even get me into R-rated vids. The asylum was clean and well tended. They had a host of innocuous AI bots scrubbing up, along with 2 synthetic mannequins under the command of a single orderly ever so often. When I first mentioned O'Cleef's name, the desk attendant tensed up in surprise. She made a call, which got me nervous. Beckham got on comm to ease my panic. She's just asking if he's in a condition to take visitors. Your cover is solid, Chesty. I rolled my eyes but didn't speak. When the lady at the desk turned her attention back to me, she said, "He can have visitors. I'm bringing down an orderly to guide you in." "Thank you," I said. A brown-skinned man with a Jamaican accent emerged from the back, with 2 synth mannequins flanking him, mimicking his movements to a noticeable degree. Walking with swagger, clapping their fist into their hands. "Okay, girl, come follow me. Some ground rules for you, see 'em. Heard?" "Yes, of course. The man plenty strong, you ain't to go near him." "You're gonna be there too?" "I don't have to be, but I was going to be, to keep an eye out." I didn't tell him that's not necessary, not until I got a read on O'Cleef for myself. "He don't like light or sudden movements. That can make him violent. He ain't well, Erd. Remember that." I took the orderly's warning to heart. While I had seen plenty of cyber psychos, I had never had to deal with any directly. And if whatever O'Cleef was on was anywhere close, I did not have the capacity to deal with it. The orderly sort of talked at me, half mumbling to himself about the state of current affairs. He was rather heated about the mayor's plan to ban certain types of ocular tech in city jobs. He went on and on, as if I wasn't particularly vital to the conversation and more a sounding board so he could vent about it. I was led to a sky blue room with a singular window where O'Cleef was restrained in a straitjacket and chained to the floor like a dog on a leash. The orderly motioned his hand for me to enter, and his two mannequins mimicked him. I stepped into the room and O'Cleef raised his head. He had a glass left eye where an ocular mod was removed and a look of quiet, stewing insanity on his face. He was a man past his prime by looks alone, but with an inner spark of something wild in him that made him seem slightly younger.
"Who is this meat you brought me, Damon?"
said O'Cleef. "You be nice, this woman came to interview you," said the orderly.
"About what?"
he said, looking to me with dark eyes. "I came to ask you about vitae, ask you what you know about it," I said. O'Cleef bucked forward suddenly at the mention of the drug, as if I somehow had it on my person. I jumped back startled.
"Do you have any on you? Did they send you to deliver me?"
O'Cleef said with a measure of optimism he did not have before. If I didn't know the brutal crime he was in there for, I may have been sad to disappoint him. As I was about to speak, Beckham got on calm. "Say yes, play along with this crazy ass. Chances are you won't get anywhere with him if you don't." I thought for a moment. "They did," I said in a whisper so that Damon couldn't quite hear. O'Cleef perked up as if this was all he had been waiting for. As to add to the effect and heighten the conspiracy, I asked Damon to step outside. He and his mannequins both made identical confused shrugs, but ultimately let me have my time.
"When is the time of my deliverance? Am I fit to meet our Lord?"
O'Cleef said with all the conviction of a fanatic. "Are you ready for it? That is the question," I said, hoping to be as vague as I could.
"Do you have the blood? It's been so long. I'm dying without it. I do not know how much longer I can stand it,"
said O'Cleef. I didn't have any vitae on me. In fact, this thought had never crossed my mind. Though at this point I realized he wasn't a high up in the organization, but a wannabe hoping to be recruited onto the team. Though I did realize that there was a central figure that was in control of the operation that was a cult leader type. Plus, they had an organization that worked on a tier system. I told O'Cleef to wait for our coming and sit tight because I didn't know what else to say about it. Beckham insisted that I drop one of his cards somewhere in the room. So I did him one better and slipped it on O'Cleef's shoe and told him it was how we would contact him. I was certain that he'd keep it safe, seeing how jazzed he was about being delivered. From there, it was a hurry up and wait situation. Beckham monitored O'Cleef while me and Otaro kept our eyes open for where the horde was getting their supply. It gave me and Otaro a bit more time to ourselves, and I must admit, I wasn't mad about it. After 2 days of searching, waiting, and watching, we sort of fell into a routine. It was hard to watch people's misery from a distance, and it wasn't as if I respected the Neo-Nuverta Police Department. Because 95% of their officers are shit, but I was starting to see how someone could see so much misery they could grow numb to it. I could see the way despair sucks people into its void and infects, changing you for the worse. Me and Antaro sat on a rooftop overlooking the Horde stronghold, looking for the point of intersection with vitae. We watched a teenager cop a vial from an ogre, wander off into an alley, and down it. After he took in the red liquid, he ran off into the night like it had given him a second life.
If that's all it did, I'd be hard-pressed not to tell someone not to do it,
I said to Antaro.
If only it was that simple. I wish I could just go down there and smack the stuff out of people's hands.
Antaro's faceplate lit up into a smile, and so did mine.
You could, if you wanted. You just wouldn't get that far. Feels like people just have an ingrained need to destroy themselves. Yeah, but we're still trying to save them.
Antaro said with hope and defeat in his voice.
At what point are we just as delusional as any of them? But about hope?
I asked.
We're probably already there, but the bigger question is, would you rather do nothing? Stories aren't written and legends aren't made about people who do nothing. So, you're looking to be a legend?
I asked.
I do not believe so. I just want to live a life that matters, that I can be proud of.
I put my hand on his back because I knew how much he needed a pat on the back, and I know that he'd never get it. I don't want to break you two up from your virtue signaling circle jerk, but I have movement at the asylum. Someone's visiting O'Cleef after hours, said Beckham.
We're on our way,
said Antaro. He hopped onto his glider and laid down, inching over so that I could climb aboard as well. It was the first time I considered myself on equal footing with someone on a crew, not just a silent tag-along. I sidled up to Antaro and his anti-grav board took off. I'll patch you in. I only have sound, said Beckham. Lo, came the voice of O'Cleef. There was silence for a long while.
I am ready to be delivered, O Lord.
There was silence.
Are you? If given the gift of eternity, would you squander it for your own frivolous gains, or would you dedicate it to a life of purpose?
Said a female voice with the slight twinge of synthetic modulation.
If given the gift, I would not waste my time. I would devote myself to our Lord's grand plan, for you have already shown the depths of your loyalty and destroyed what was most precious to you. But are you willing to burn your soul away, as I am?
There was now grunts and groans over comm, and I could no longer make out what we were hearing. If it weren't for the occasional dry heave, we would have assumed we lost the feed completely. I'm going to see if I can hack into a mannequin and get eyes on them, said Beckham, with the sound of gentle keyboard clacks on comm. We were nearly to the asylum by the same time O'Cleef and the mystery woman spoke again. Drink of me and live forever, said the female voice. After a pause, we could clearly hear the links of the chain on the floor being broken. What is that? Said the woman.
The thing that your agent gave me,
said O'Cleef. Suddenly the feed cut out. Fuck, they found my bug. I'm sending a mannequin to keep an eye on them. Fuck, they're on the move. How far are you from the asylum? If we can't track them back to their stronghold, we have to do this entire thing all over.
We're 30 seconds out,
said Antaro. As the glider approached the asylum, all hell was breaking loose. Alarms were blaring and lights were blinking wildly in the night. They're going through these mannequins like it ain't shit. I don't think they're gonna leave any staff alive.
I gotta go in,
said Antaro. Don't be a dumb fuck. O'Cleef is juiced up and the woman he's talking to is Adrian Allen. You know she ain't to be fucked with.
I'll distract them, piss them off, and give the staff time to escape.
You doofy tune, that bitch flatlined half a police precinct. What the fuck you gonna do?
Whatever I can,
said Antaro, who hopped from the glider and tactically rolled onto the rooftop of the asylum. Deep down, I believe Beckham was right, but I'd be damned if it wasn't the hottest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Antaro might have been a little crazy, but that didn't mean I wasn't looking at a hero. Don't fucking go in there, Ravvy. My caddy is outside. Get in it and stay in it. I didn't argue. When I stepped off the board, it rose back into the air and began flying in a wide figure-8 pattern, presumably over Antaro's location.
Can you give me eyes inside at least?
I asked Beckham. In lieu of an answer, there was furious clacking on his deck. Patching it to your handheld, said Beckham. When I tuned into a hacked feed, I was patched into the eyes of the orderly's mannequin. It furiously barred a door as something threw itself at it. The dark-skinned Jamaican, Damon, was doing the best he could to calm a handful of inmates that already had tenuous grips on reality. The mannequin peeked through solid glass. O'Cleef's face was splattered in red and Adrian was in the background kicking in a thick door effortlessly. She had modded metal legs that she chose to display, which easily could have been covered in pants. Her jacket was blood-soaked, mostly white and blue, but currently decorated with sporadic dots of red. The woman had chrome starting from her eyebrow and up and around her head. I couldn't quite tell from what I was looking at. The beastly woman grabbed an inmate and bit into the woman's neck, drinking the blood like a juice box, then crumpling and throwing her away just the same way. "You can start unlocking doors or we'll just kill our way out and get out anyway," Adrian yelled to Damon and more than likely a handful of administrators. "Look, we're not in full control of the facility," yelled a woman in a lab coat I hadn't seen before.
Is that you messing with their doors?
I asked Beckham. "It is. I had to take control of the doors to shut the doors. Contrary to what you may think, I am trying to slow them down." Before I could have an opinion on the matter one way or the other, Antaro calmed in.
I need you to try to open a straight shot of doors from me to the exit.
Just because I open doors doesn't mean they're gonna go through. These motherfuckers are basking in the slaughter. Beckham shot back.
Don't worry about it. They'll follow me. Trust me.
The door at the end of the hall opened and out poured billowing white plumes of smoke. Adrian and O'Cleef turned to the dramatic event and ignored the room full of meat snacks for the time being. My feed switched from the eyes of a mannequin to the infrared vision of Antaro stealthily stalking into the hallway. The two vitae-addicted freaks had no idea he was coming for them. I, on the other hand, held my breath in collective fear. As the rushing white fog stretched down the hall, Adrian and O'Cleef turned their attentions back to the staff. One of Damon's mannequins ran up to go for a grab as if dealing with a patient, but O'Cleef was beyond that and tore out his plastic-reinforced spine. As Adrian moved in to begin the massacre, Antaro dove and rolled out of the mist with a half-katana, which I later realized was called a wakasashi. One swipe was at the back of Adrian's leg, the second on her side. The blows fell blood-sprayed, but all it managed to do was make her look mad. Antaro dodged in hand swings that came at him so hard I could hear the air rushing past it. He backflipped over her outstretched arm and was swallowed once again by the growing fog. O'Cleef destroyed Damon's second mannequin and seemed to be locked in on the helpless poor souls inside. That was until two ninja stars rocketed out of the fog and embedded themselves in his skull. I can't claim to be a doctor or a person that knows the limits of the body, but just at a layman's glance, these blows seem strong enough to down the average person. Antaro didn't think it was going to be that easy, and he nimbly jogged through the slowly waning fog. "Come here, motherfucker," yelled Adrian as if offended by the audacity of this insignificant human. She was the predator. He was just a rabbit with a switchblade. Adrian ran into the fog without hesitation or forethought. Antaro ran and she gave chase, her wiry arms cut through the mist. Antaro half ran up the sides of the wall, flipping back to the proper orientation, but not before Adrian broke holes in it from her strength of arms. Antaro only glanced back when he felt the presence of either of the two closing in on him. I collectively held my breath after every swing and every near miss. Antaro knew what he was doing, and just like the corpo-controlled media, he knew he had to keep his audience captive by any means necessary. I cried out in fear when O'Cleef dove at Antaro and took his feet from under him. He fell and did a slippery roll. Beckham opened every door he passed through seconds before he'd die. His only salvation, the small click noise before the next door parted a crack. Adrian closed in seconds before she feasted on Antaro. He half-turned, letting a slingshot slide from out of his sleeve. He released a metal pellet in the blink of an eye, only for Adrian to counter his move with a supernatural display of speed, plucking the ball from the air. A small 8-bit smirk crossed Antaro's face as the pellet in Adrian's hand beeped, then detonated, turning her right hand into a pasty red mist. "I'll rip your balls off, you annoying little shit," she howled. Antaro cleared the front door, and not seconds before he did, his glider swooped low, and he hopped on it like a trusty steed in a cowboy vid. O'Cleef jumped in the air and grabbed the back end of his glider after making an impossible 40-foot leap. Antaro looked back. His faceplate made an 8-bit expression of anger and frustration, then quickly flashed back to sly determination. He took the glider up higher, though it sputtered from the unexpected weight of a new passenger. Antaro rolled onto his back and the grips of his slingshot mechanically slid from his sleeve. He attempted to use his core strength to steady the glider, seeing O'Cleef's violent shakes threaten to topple it over. In an instant, Antaro loosed a metal pellet that struck O'Cleef sharply in the barren eye socket devoid of mods. O'Cleef panicked when he heard the clicking beep, let go of the glider, and opted to drop 60 feet. It was hard to see from Antaro's mod in his faceplate, but looking from the window of Beckham's caddy, I saw O'Cleef's head explode in the distance. And ultimately, maybe it was a blessing I didn't have clear line of sight on something so grotesque. Seconds later, I saw Adrian running so fast death couldn't catch her out of the loud alarm-blaring asylum. She ran nearly as fast as a vehicle on the street, and I couldn't tell if it were due to her modded-out legs or whatever the power of vitae had given to her. I started the caddy to follow from a distance. "What the fuck are you doing, Ravvy?" asked Beckham over comms.
You yourself said if we don't follow her back to her lair, we're dead in the water. I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen.
"You're not that guy. Ravvy, don't make me shut my car off," said Beckham.
Do what you have to do, because I'm doing what I have to do.
There was a long pause when I began to pull off, and I expected the power to go dead or the AI to reassert control, but it didn't. Maybe Beckham believed in me. Maybe he was just unwilling to lose his window of opportunity. I didn't know, and I never asked. I had to admit I had never done this, and for a split second I sort of wished Beckham did stop me, so I'd have the joyous moment of righteous conviction without the threat of actual danger. I was out here attempting to do right for the world. I was doing it, and if I had to risk it all, so be it. I trailed Adrian for approximately 2 blocks from what I considered a safe distance. She veered down an alley that had an overhanging building walkway obscuring an aerial view. If anyone was even watching the parking spot, she'd be even harder to see. A singular headlight pierced the darkness and Adrian on a red and black motorcycle emerged. She headed deeper into the heart of the city at speeds unsafe for people of modest reflexes. I tried to keep up, but I was starting to realize I was in over my head. I could barely keep pace with her, on top of also maintaining my stealth. She hit the 1001, which was the expressway that led through the Paxil building. A popular move for criminals that chose not to be easily made by sneaky aerial drones was to pass through one of the massive superstructures of the city and get lost, then find a passage to the Under 10 to Baskerville. After passing through the Undercity, you could then re-emerge almost anywhere in the city and be in the clear. That was, of course, if someone didn't physically have eyes on you the entire time. As I attempted to shadow Adrian, I had all but lost sight of her. It was hard for me to stay at a safe distance going as fast as she was and still maintain my anonymity. She weaved her way through the traffic like a fish swimming upstream. I managed to catch a hint of a red motion-blurred taillight periodically when we passed through the neon night. When the 1001 elevated higher and higher and the mouth of the Paxil building awaited us to swallow us up, I got a good glimpse of Adrian's motorcycle and saw that no one was on it. I don't know when it happened or when she may have slipped away, but with AI assistance, her cycle did the speed limit, because unless she got into its guts and tinkered with its brain, an AI wouldn't knowingly break the law. Before I had time to wonder, I saw a shadowy silhouette of a woman dive off of one of the several windmills that lined the road. There was a thud that happened on the roof of the caddy. Beckham must have heard my panicked breathing and paid closer attention to what was happening, because he chimed in with a tone that ran counter to his personality, calm and reassuring. "I'm engaging remote pilot. I'll drive the car. You're going to have to pull out whatever gun you have on your person and stay away from the windows. It's bulletproof, more or less. But let's not make assumptions. How far are you from the mouth of the Paxil, Antaro?" he said, redirecting his question. Antaro calmed in.
I don't know, a minute, maybe less. If we enter the mouth, I will have a time navigating on anti-grav.
"One problem at a time," Beckham started to say before he was interrupted by Adrian's fist punching through the roof. I laid on the floor like a fire drill and fumbled for my weapon. I didn't bobble the draw this time, at least that was improvement. I pointed my micro SMG at the roof as Adrian peeled away the metal like a sardine can. I fired the moment I saw enough of her to shoot at. She ducked behind the bent metal of the roof, though she more than likely didn't need to do even that much because my shots were wild and all over the place. I had shot a few times on the range, but out in the wild in a kill-or-be-killed scenario, I may well had just touched the thing. There was no chance of optimal conditions or someone being kind enough to sit still and let me put on safe gear while I blew them away. I was on my back on the floor of a Cadillac while a beat-up psycho ripped through the roof. The scenario changed from open sky to the artificial lights of the Paxil tunnel. My first clip clicked, and Adrian must have heard it because she peeked her head through the hole in the roof. I fumbled frantically for my purse, and I could see Adrian smiling wide with the same vibe as a snake. I was unsure if it were intimidation or genuine amusement. Her canine teeth extended and she hopped onto the leather couch while I comically missed refreshing the clip, half due to the shaking of the car and half due to me being scared shitless. Adrian loomed over me smiling with white glistening teeth, crouched down, perched over me like a carrion crow waiting to pick at a fresh carcass. She chuckled when I missed the hole the third time. "Here, let me help you," she said as she violently snatched my gun away and expertly swapped in the clip. She dropped my weapon on the floor next to me. I didn't grab it immediately, knowing I was instantly dead if I did. "Is that fucking bitch in the car with you?" Beckham said over comms. "You can't talk. I can help, but if either of you live, it's 50-50. Tell me if you want me to do it." Beckham went quiet.
What are you?
I said to her as she hovered over me seconds before the kill. "For all you're concerned, you're God," she said. Adrian leaned in quickly and went for my neck with her teeth. "Now!" I yelled to Beckham. Without a moment to spare, the caddy spun out and hit the median. Adrian and I went tumbling like dice. When the car crashed, we cleared the expressway and violently broke through the glass on the causeway where the foot traffic into the Paxil building started. Through the spinning, we were treated to a symphony of twisted metal over a chorus of screams from panicked bystanders. Because I was on the ground, I fared better than Adrian, who was flung out of the back driver's side window and skidded on glass and concrete. I was dizzy and barely conscious when I saw Adrian standing up, her body healing, correcting its anatomical mistakes. She turned to the car with half her face lost to road rash, though her teeth weren't. I scrambled, my hands and knees scraping on glass, to escape the vehicle. Adrian rushed towards me with an awkward gait like her hip was broke. I felt hands grab me from behind and take me off of the ground. I was on Antaro's glider and he hovered there with his sling at the ready, a modern-day David versus an unconventional Goliath. Adrian froze in place, weighing the gravity of the situation, then hopped through the wrecked glass and onto her motorcycle, which waited patiently for her arrival. As she poured on the speed and Antaro poured on his speed, Antaro leaned in with his glider to continue in this dangerous pursuit.
"Stop following her. I got it."
Antaro's faceplate made an 8-bit look of confusion.
"I slipped her one of Beckham's cards,"
I said. Antaro's face lit up with a digital smile.
Hi, I am Pat. Once again, you have found yourself at the end of this story. Do not despair. There are 2 more parts coming. Look for part 3 in the wings. I am Pat, signing out.